Neuroscientists have discovered something shocking. During deep sleep, your consciousness can completely shut off for hours. So the version of you asleep and the version of you awake, are they really the same person? In 2019, inside the ICU, I met a 102-year-old man. His heart had already stopped 4 times. Every single time, the doctors said it was hopeless, yet he survived every single time. He grabbed my hand and said, "I saw things I wasn't supposed to see," he said during the 3rd cardiac arrest. He saw countless versions of himself. Some died on the bed, some were successfully resuscitated, some never had a heart attack at all. This sounds like a classic near-death hallucination. But when I later studied the theory of quantum immortality, I suddenly realized he might have actually seen the truth. Quantum mechanics tells us every microscopic particle exists in superposition, just like Schrödinger's cat, dead and alive at the same time. And our bodies are made of 1028 particles. When a person is on the edge of death, for example, a sudden heart attack at the quantum level, this event both happens and doesn't happen simultaneously. The universe splits into 2 timelines in that moment. In one timeline, his family is crying at his funeral. In the other timeline, he miraculously survives, and your consciousness can only continue in the universe where you are still alive. Because the version of you that died no longer has the ability to perceive anything. This isn't science fiction. This is the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. In 1957, physicist Hugh Everett proposed a wild idea. Every time a quantum system faces a choice, the universe splits into countless versions. In some branches, you lived. In some branches, you died. This is the gentlest possibility quantum physics has ever given us. But that gentle possibility comes with a terrible cost. You can never truly confirm which version of yourself you really are. According to research published in Physical Review Letters, the human brain experiences around 10 trillion quantum state transitions every second. Every neuron firing, every synaptic connection, involves quantum jumps of electrons. What does this mean? It means at the quantum level, the you right now and the you a second ago may already be 2 completely different beings. This sounds abstract, so let me put it into a daily life moment. Today at noon, you stand at the entrance of a restaurant, hesitating between a burger or Japanese food. You think this is just a trivial decision, but in the quantum world, at the exact moment you hesitated, the universe already split. In one universe, you chose the burger. It was too spicy. You drank ice water. You got acute gastroenteritis. You took sick leave. You missed a critical business meeting. In another universe, you chose Japanese food. The fish wasn't fresh. You ended up in the hospital from food poisoning. In another universe, you hesitated too long. You skipped lunch. You fainted from low blood sugar on the street. And in the Force universe, you randomly walked into a place and had a perfectly normal day. Which universe are you in right now? Obviously the Force one, because in the other 3 branches, your consciousness could not have continued to exist. You might say, this is exaggerated. How can lunch be that fatal? But physicists calculated even the most normal daily behavior contains billions of quantum branch possibilities. And in the majority of those branches, you have already died in countless bizarre ways. So what did the double-slit experiment actually prove? In 1927, when electrons were fired through 2 slits, if nobody observed it, a single electron would pass through both slits at the same time and form interference patterns. But the moment you place a detector and observe which slit it went through, the interference disappears instantly. The electron suddenly chooses only one path. And the craziest part was Wheeler's upgraded experiment, where the decision to observe was made after the electron had already passed the slits. The result showed your measurement right now can change what the electron did in the past. Time's arrow can actually run backwards in the quantum world. Imagine a cat locked inside a sealed box. Inside there is a device. If a radioactive atom decays, the poison bottle breaks. According to quantum mechanics, before you open the box, the atom is both decayed and not decayed. So the cat is both dead and alive. Schrödinger originally invented this to mock how absurd quantum mechanics sounded, but ironically, it became the key to understanding it. Everett proposed the insane solution. The wave function never collapses. The cat really is both dead and alive. Just in two separate parallel universes, when you open the box, you didn't decide the cat's fate. You split the entire universe. In one universe, you see a dead cat. In the other, you see a living cat. And your consciousness can only experience one branch. The cost is that you must accept. There now exists countless versions of you. Now imagine an extreme scenario. You're on an airplane flying through a violent storm. Suddenly severe turbulence, oxygen mass drop. The plane starts falling uncontrollably. People scream. You feel death approaching. In classical physics, two outcomes exist: safe landing or crash with total fatality. But in the quantum, many worlds. The universe explodes into thousands of versions. In one, lightning hits the engine and the plane disintegrates. In another, airflow shifts suddenly and the plane stabilizes. In another, you never boarded this flight at all. The critical question is, 5 minutes later, which universe will you exist in? The answer: you will only exist in the universes where you survived. Because in the universes where you crashed, your consciousness cannot continue. So from your subjective view, the plane must land safely. Outsiders see probability. But you only experience certainty, the certainty that you are still alive. This leads to quantum Russian roulette. Imagine a box in front of you. Inside are 6 pills, all identical. 5 contain deadly toxin. Only one is harmless. The toxin triggers randomly at the quantum level. Heart stops within 1 second. No pain. No warning. You randomly swallow one. From classical probability, you have a 5/6 chance of death. But if the many worlds interpretation is real, the universe splits into 6 versions instantly. In 5 versions, you drop dead instantly. In one version, you ate the harmless pill. From an outsider's POV, you're statistically doomed. But from your own POV, you can only continue in the surviving branch. You open your eyes. You're completely fine. You think, wow, I'm insanely lucky. If you repeat this 100 times, from third-person reality, you would have died countless times. But from first-person consciousness, you would experience 100 miraculous survivals. Eventually, you would genuinely believe you were protected by some supernatural force. Quantum mechanics isn't protecting you, it's simply stating you can never experience the branch where you died. But quantum immortality carries a cruel truth. It doesn't guarantee a good version of survival. You may survive a brutal car accident, but end up paralyzed, alive only through ventilators. Conscious, but unable to speak, move, or escape your body. You may survive cancer, but pay a price of organ failure and constant pain. You may avoid every fatal accident, but aging is unavoidable. You will watch your body rot slowly. While consciousness remains trapped, quantum immortality doesn't promise eternal healthy life. It simply says, you can never experience the total termination of consciousness. And the second law of thermodynamics sets the final deadline. Entropy guarantees this end. Around 100 years from now, the last star burns out, the last black hole evaporates. The universe falls to absolute zero, no energy flow, no gradients, at that moment. No matter which branch of the multiverse you escaped into, there will be nowhere left to run. Quantum immortality only delays the final end. It cannot erase it. Back to that 102-year-old man. He said he saw countless versions of himself. During his first cardiac arrest, the universe already split. In one branch, doctors failed. His family was already collecting his belongings. In another branch, his heart restarted, but with devastating brain damage. In another, he never got sick at all, and his consciousness continued along the branch where he survived, awake, able to speak. Those other versions of him were just as real, just existing inside different wave functions. So why do we still see people die around us? Because your observation collapses the wave function. It locks one specific outcome into your local universe. When you witness someone die in this universe, they truly died. But in another universe, maybe you are the one who died and they survived. Every person has their own independent consciousness timeline. You can only experience yours. Quantum immortality is not a blessing. It is an unavoidable existence. It says, you have no choice. You just keep moving forward, on the branch where you have not yet died. Like a drop of water sliding toward the only glowing exit, never stopping, those versions of you that died. Their stories will never be told. Because storytelling requires consciousness, and they have none, so in a certain sense, death does not exist, not for you. You can never experience that end. You will just slide from one near-death moment into the next surviving possibility. Wandering forever along the edge of infinite universes, always walking down the corridor where the last light is still on. You are here, reading these words, thinking these thoughts. That alone is the answer. On this branch, in this universe. Right here, right now, you are still alive. This is quantum immortality, not fairy tale immortality. But the cold fact physics gives us, you did not defeat death. You simply continue to walk the path, where you have not died yet, and that path may have no ending you will ever be conscious enough to reach.